Good evening. My name is Karen Colville. I'm a visual artist. I'm in Vancouver, BC. In Canada. Um, in most recent times, I I watch YouTube on occasion. Sometimes for research purposes. I make my own videos on art and lifestyle. And I recently started watching Logan Paul just before the Christmas holidays, and I thought, what a fun, vibrant character this guy is. That's why he is a YouTube celebrity, and is now a mainstream celebrity as well. And I thought it was kind of college humor, tongue in cheek and a lot of fun. And so I tuned in and watched a couple episodes. And I thought, oh yeah, it's kind of pretty cool. And from there, Christmas holidays came, and I had my mobility scooter stolen off of the property. They had taken the lock and chain and the barbecue cover that was on it to be inconspicuous, and so that was very disheartening, to say the least. I had a very emotionally upheaval feeling of being violated, and it had a very serious impact on my health during the holidays. A lot of people during the holidays, they get depressed, and I found that I'm very thankful, one, to be alive. I have been for some time, since I've been hurt. I've been in physical recovery, and to have my mobility scooter stolen, I found that it was had a very hard impact on me for all that I've had to struggle through and survive with. And so, I had a friend that I visited on Christmas Eve, which was really nice. Took my mind off of what had happened. It was attempted break-in. That person was right outside my bedroom window, so I felt very uncomfortable to say, anything about this. So the police are involved. A report was made out. I didn't have insurance because I have been trying to financially rebuild my health. And so it really brought to light the impact of emotional trauma, a person, what they can cope with, and what they can really handle. So, to get my mind off of, I had this phone call New Year's Eve, and the phone call was of a person who claimed that they had my scooter and that they wanted money, and for me to meet them and not to involve the police. Well, I thought, well, one, this person could assault me and harm me or rob me, and I just didn't think it was worth taking the chance to go out and speak to that person. And if they were the actual thief, that they did violate me on a number of counts. So that person didn't call back. I pulled all my ads from the community of social media in attempts to reach out for any information, um, and to get my scooter back. And so this was really hard to deal with. I felt very raw and extremely upset. And it was New Year's Eve, a time that you're also to be celebrating the new year. So I thought, well, I'll watch Logan Paul for a few moments and have a laugh and get my mind off of all this. And unbeknownst, it was a video. There was a graphic warning about it in the beginning about his and his friends or colleagues' visit to the suicide forest in Japan. And I decided that I was going to watch it, and it was really shocking and disturbing to see a dead person hanging from a tree. And that in itself and the reactions that it caused was it brings a lot of light to when there's such dark energy and darkness. How do we face those fears? How do we face the darkness of that to be able to bring to light and turn the situation around? And that's not always easy to deal with, or to deal with in the moment, because the brain has a capability of handling shock and trauma at the time. Everyone responds in different ways. So Logan Paul had never experienced this before, and he didn't know how to emotionally, or wasn't even prepared to deal with that kind of situation. And it can be traumatizing for a lot of people. I imagine even some of the children that were watching that video were traumatized and it had a negative impact, and it's very upsetting. But what it does also, it brought myself to appreciate life so much more. I've had to fight in so many regards to be able to come back and recover and heal. And that's been quite a journey in itself, and for a number of other people. And so I'm speaking tonight for disabled people and for people that do not have a voice, not to be victimized or traumatized, or put into emotional upheaval, for people that don't even have a moral compass or have any morality or respect for a person's property. So their energy also, there's a karmic pattern. So when someone harms themselves, their spirit, that energy stays in the atmosphere. And so it's like, how do we in light turn that situation around? So it really addresses mental health. It really addresses the very serious subject of suicide prevention as well. And how far as a society do we allow people to get to depressed to even get to that point? So I turned my own situation around, and I have been since working on solutions for my own challenges. But also too, it really brought to light that there needs to be a balance between the physical and the emotional. So in physical recovery, there's also an emotional impact that goes on as well. So yeah, really what it comes down to is every single country has people that are afflicted by either tragic circumstances, trauma, or however, and they're not able to, or mentally prepared, or not strong enough to be able to cope with these challenges, and they end up harming themselves. So what is a society that puts people in a position that they make that choice to go that route? What is behind all that? So a lot of medical research and funding is being put forward, more so now, towards mental health. It never was in the past, and people have really suffered as a result. So we need to kind of end the stigma that's associated with it, and really get on with healing people and being in support in a community, not to be divided. This is not about hits and on YouTube, and how many viewers you can get, and how much of a following for monetization. This is about humanity here. So I really wanted to bring up this subject matter. And I hope it all resolves over time, and more attention has been, and funding and support is, so people don't continue being victimized and continue being hurt in so many ways, where it leads down to the road of serious severe depression, where people would commit suicide. And children are also seriously impacted by what they see and what they're taught, and to even see that depiction with respect towards that person is traumatic within itself. But it does open, that darkness also opens dialogue to be able to discuss this, and also to research it more and to have more support available, and also for again for the voiceless to have more of a voice, and for people who experience challenges, who are differently abled, who are disabled, to be able to say, hey, I'm not going to be victimized or feel bad about my circumstances. How are we going to be able to turn this around in a really good way? All right, so have a good evening, and thank you for listening. And yeah, peace. Things will work out.